Hello everyone. This is our last topic about the 11th grade biology, population ecology. Let me define what is population. Population is a group of individuals of a single species living in the same habitat or area. And population ecology is the study of population in relation to environment, including environmental influences on density, distribution, age structure, and population size. Actually, this population density, population size, and dispersion and age structure makes the population dynamics. And population dynamics focus on the complex interaction between biotic and abiotic factor that causes the variation in population size. Okay, let me start with this population density. What is population density? It means the number of the individual per unit area or volume. For example, in the aquatic system, we can measure as a volume. For example, number of the same species of the fish in the 1 kilometer, triple kilometer of volume. And density is the result of the interplay between processes that add individual to a population and those to remove individual. The second population dynamic factor is dispersion of the population. And there are three types of dispersion in the populations: the clumped, uniform, and random. You see in the clumped form, the individuals aggregate in patches. For example, these are the clumped. And a clump dispersion may be influenced by resource availability or behavior, or any kind of behavior to protect from the predators, or any kind of mechanism to their predatory behaviors or their prey behaviors can make them to make a group. And this group called clump dispersion. The second type of dispersion is uniform dispersion in the populations, and in this uniform dispersion there are almost same amount of space is between each individual. And in this type of dispersion, individuals it may be influenced by social interaction. There are really high interaction between the individuals, such as territoriality. And the third one is the type of dispersion is called random dispersion, and the position of each individual is independent of other individual. Mostly the dispersion of the random dispersion can be occur for the seeds of any kind of plants, and the wind can send these plant seeds to any different kinds of habitats, and it occurs in the absence of strong interaction or repulsions. And these are the three types of dispersion in the population. And the third one about the population dynamic is population size. And we calculate the change in the size of the population by adding the birth and immigration, and by subtracting death and emigrations. And number of the individuals in specific time determine the size of the population. Demography is the study of vital statistics of population and how they change over time. Death rates and birth rates are the particular interest to demographers. What is immigration and emigration? Immigration is the influx of new individual. For example, in here, the new individual, the white bird is immigrant to the population 2, and it is emigrant for the population 1. Immigration is the influx of new individual. This white fish is adding to the population 2, but it is removal from the population 1. And there is, in most cases, the impractical or impossible to count all the individuals in the populations. Therefore, demographers use some sampling techniques can be used to estimate densities and total population size. We said that births and immigration increases the population size, and deaths and emigration decreases the population size. Okay. And let me explain what is life tables and survival sheep curves. Life tables actually is an age-specific summary of a survival pattern of a population, and it can be calculated for male and females separately, and it is best made for the following fate of cohort, a group of individuals of the same age. For example, in this population, you can estimate what is the potential lifespan is remaining for any age, male or female. And survival sheep curve is a graphical way of representing the data in life table. The survival sheep curves are drawn according to life tables, and survival sheep curves can be classified into 3 general types: type 1, type 2, and type 3. These are the survival sheep curve types. Okay, let me explain what are the difference between these survival sheep curves. In type 1, you see the low death rates during early and middle life, then an increase among older age groups in the type 1. For example, many mammals and humans have type 1 survival sheep curve, because in this type organism have less amount of offspring, their offspring number is less, and there is a parental care for this individual. Therefore, the youngs and babies survive more. But in type 2, it can be seen in some birds and reptiles. The constant rate of that occurs in all type of the age groups. And in type 2, many bird species have type 2 survival sheep curve, and in type 2 curve, organisms die more or less equally at each age intervals. An organism with this type of survival sheep curve may also have relatively few offspring and provide significant parental care when we compare to the type 1. But in type 3, for example, trees, marine invertebrates, and most fishes, they have many offspring, but they don't show parental care. Therefore, many offspring in the young age die, and few of them can survive. And this is the type 3 survival sheep curve. And this is all about this curve. And zero population growth occurs when the birth rate equals to the death rate. Okay, population growth can be explained with 2 different types of graph. The first one is the exponential population growth. We call it G-shaped curve, and in population increase under the idealized conditions, and under these conditions the rate of the population is at its maximum. But this population is not sustainable. It cannot remain constant all the time. But in populations, generally, S-shape or logistic growth model can be seen mostly, because in logistic growth model, the individuals can reach the carrying capacity, and when the individuals reach the carrying capacity, their growth rate becomes stable, and actually the population size becomes stable and growth rate is stop. And exponential growth cannot be sustained for long in any population. More realistic population model limits growth incorporating by carrying capacity. And carrying capacity is the maximum population size the environment can support. And you see there is 2 graphic here. The graphs are about the Paramecium population in the laboratory environment and Daphnia population in the lab. Okay. Lastly, the last population dynamic is the population age structure. And one important demographic factor in present and future growth trends is the country's age structure. Age structure is the relative number of individuals at each age, An age structure diagram can predict the population growth trends in the future generation. They can illuminate social conditions and help us to plan for the future of the communities or future of the countries. There are three different types of age structure. The first one is the rapid growth. You see the number of the individuals in the young age is very high. So we see there is a rapid growth, like triangular shape growth, because the number of the youngs are many more than the number of the old individuals. And slow growth rates, mostly seen in United States or Turkey, slow growth rates, the number of the middle age and youngs are very similar, but number of the old ages are less. This is slow growth rate, age structure, and also there is no growth or decreasing population age structure can be seen in, for example, in Italy or German. And in this shape, the number of the youngs are less than the number of middle age or old people. Okay, this is all about the population ecology. Thank you for your listening.